Do you want to bust your sales quota? Do you want to join the ranks of top 1% sellers? The Top 1% Sellers podcast gives you the insights and the tools to help you achieve your sales greatness. The podcast features sales and services professionals, leaders, and experts to give you the edge you're looking for. Here's your host, Seddeek.
Welcome, everyone. This is the Top 1% Sellers podcast. My guest today is Dan Peña. He is known as Dan Peña. He's an American philanthropist. He's a businessman and high-performance coach. He is currently residing at the Guthrie Castle in Scotland, where he actually hosts his very well-known program called the Quantum Leap Advantage, or QLA for short. He's also produced more than $50 billion in equity and value for his mentees, and we're very excited to have Dan here with us. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you very much. In fact, the seminar starts tonight in about 3 hours.
Fantastic. And I know you have one coming up in August as well.
But today is a special day. 1 June, 50 years ago, many years before you were born, was the first high-performance act that I ever achieved. And that was I graduated from infantry OCS and became a young officer in the United States Congress, in their infinite wisdom, deemed me an officer and a gentleman.
That's phenomenal. And I was watching one of the videos on that history and how that was definitely sort of a turning point as well.
It was a major turning point, yeah.
Yes, that's awesome. And I'm hoping that this conversation we're having will be also a turning point for a lot of people listening in.
Great.
And as I mentioned, we'll get kicked off and really start thinking more about high performance, which I know is a topic you love. And we'll also take a look at super success. And then we'll focus that conversation to people who are out there trying to make a living selling services and products around the world. And we'll start off perhaps with your own definition of high performance.
High performance is very simple. Joe Batten, who was the author of the book Tough-Minded Management and Tough-Minded Leadership, who was Ross Perot's mentor, who I had the pleasure of being in business with many years ago, deemed it as being all you can be. And that's my definition, and has been for a few decades now. Being all you can be in everything you do, from the time that you get up in the morning when you brush your teeth to the time you go to sleep. In my particular case, when I go to sleep, I still say my prayers at night, and I normally fall asleep saying my prayers. So from the time I'm awake to the time I go to sleep, I'm being all that I can be.
That's awesome, Dan. And I think let's then sort of look at, when you were a company executive for many times, achieved amazing success, and you had a lot of salespeople coming and selling their services and products to you. Maybe we can talk about what you've seen happen that wasn't really very good salesmanship, and then let's take a look at your own tips for sales professionals in order for them to actually be high achievers in their own field.
Fine. Well, the first and foremost thing is that most sales professionals the last 15, 20 years give up too easily. It's a partner of mine in business many years ago, we were selling Kraft, a tax service. And we called him, the CFO of Kraft, they make the cheese, accepted our 100th phone call. Now, I don't think that was by accident. And as I just sent somebody an email that's been trying to sell me something recently, I said, at least you're persevering. And I'm not saying that you should make 100 phone calls, but what I see is the kids give up too easily. No matter how polished you are, no matter how smooth you are, no matter how much you understand the various closing techniques, it's perseverance that gets the job done. And so they give up too easily. The next thing vis-a-vis sales is that most of the kids really don't understand their product and or service. And when I was selling, and I used to sell door to door, and I sold life insurance over kitchen tables. I always knew the product, and I was always, I could answer any question. I was always, as they used to tell me, Danny's overprepared. Well, the real truth of it is you can never be over-prepared. And so I was always prepared. And as I climbed up the corporate ladder and became a CEO of a public company, I was always the most prepared guy in the room. And I wasn't saying I was the most smart guy in the room, but I certainly was the most prepared guy in the room. So that's what I see in modern day sales. They give up too easy and they're not prepared.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I'd love for people to get a glimpse perhaps of, you know, the deal making conversations that you have in your program. You probably, from a mindset perspective, you end up instilling certain characteristics in their thought process before you get even into the mechanics of deal making. Maybe if we can talk a bit about what those mindsets are.
Sure. Primarily, and number one is laser beam focus. Laser beam focus. Number two is commitment. I mean, if you're not committed to what you're doing, your product, your service, you're lost. After laser beam focus and commitment, there's dedication. And I know that some people might say, well, dedication is the same thing as commitment. Well, it's not. I mean, dedication is that, especially in today's world, and I'm not saying I'm a proponent of this, but in today's world, the kids want to save the world. They want to think that their product is making the world better.
Yes.
I would be disingenuous if I said that that's how I started, because it wasn't. All I wanted to do was pay my bills in the beginning. I mean, so you have to be careful, and this especially is true when you first get out of school, as to what's the first job you're going to take? Is it the first job you're going to take just to pay your mortgage? Or is the first job you're going to take where you have an opportunity to actually climb the ladder and do good for not just you, but the world? But one of the things I tell the kids, and I have for the last 10 or 15 years, if you want to save the world and you want to get wealthy at the same time, create something that helps 1 billion people.
Yes.
1 billion. Mark Zuckerberg is a classic example of that. He didn't start off trying to save the world, but he certainly had the germ of an idea to change the life of 1 billion people, and he certainly has.
That's phenomenal. And I'd love for people to maybe get a sense. I've been definitely listening to a lot of your YouTube videos. I've seen some of your students, but I'd love you to give people a sense of what's the makeup of that audience in the QLA program. Are some of them actually people in corporate jobs that are coming to the program, or most of them are entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you the most recent example, the most phenomenal example, I should say. We had a guy, 17 years with a Big Four accounting firm.
Yes.
3 years before he could retire, he quit his job. He moved from Europe to London to follow his dream. He put his board together, etc. And everybody from the managing partner of the firm down, what are you doing? Do you have any idea? You're only 3 years away, this and that. I mean, you know, and so we have people from corporate world, big partners in big law firms, partners in big accounting firms, and we have people that just have an idea. Our demographics in the last 10 years has changed from late 20s to late 40s to now it's late teens to late 20s. 60% of the people that come to the seminar. We have teenagers. Last seminar we had 2 19-year-olds. And we have some phenomenons that have no education, and then we have kids with PhDs, MBAs, certified financial analysts, etc. But all of them are following their passion. In the spirit of candor, not everybody knows what they want to do when they get here. All they know is they're unhappy.
Interesting.
And they know that they're not happy, and they don't want to do this the next 20 or 30 years.
They don't like the status quo right now that they have.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I actually wonder, as part of that curriculum, when it comes to really the whole piece about persuading others and selling those ideas to others, and I know you do some role playing in the program. Do you focus on this piece a bit in the program, how they're actually going to be able to sell that idea to others?
Absolutely. We have role playing. We have, I mean, they leave here with 8 gigabytes of information. In Canada, I don't really know if 8 gigabytes is a lot, but when I tell people that, they say it's a lot of shit, Dan. I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
And so we have the weekly reports that are mandatory, and we have monthly Zoom calls where their group, their batch get together and trade information that can last 2, 3, 4 hours. So we give them, I don't like to say we give them tips, but we do give templates that are working today in 2017, and some of which, the same templates that worked in 1993.
Yes.
There's certain fundamentals of sales that haven't changed at all. What's really changed is information is instantaneous now, and via the internet, and that's a huge benefit. And the kids, let's say the kids that are been using it the last 10 years really don't understand what a benefit it is. The old guys that come in that remember before the internet, like I do, I didn't get online till April 1st, 2001. April Fool's Day, I still remember.
Wow.
But I mean, the older guys know, and we call it shoe leather. We used to have to take a bus, take a train, take a plane, and now we can have a call just like this.
Exactly.
I mean, it's unbelievable. So yeah, we give them all the tools. One of the biggest differences, what I'm stealing my thunder for tonight's YouTube when my introduction speech is, before you've read about many different financial instruments, many different sales instruments, but tonight and the rest of the week, we're going to show you how to play the whole financial orchestra.
That's phenomenal, bringing all the pieces together.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Wonderful, wonderul. What I'd love to do now, and I really appreciate all of your insights, Dan. I know in the program you talk about the seven steps to super success, and I'm hoping that again we give people a taste of what lies behind the QLA program and what they can really get out of it. And maybe given the fact that these are sellers and some of them really want to become top 1% sellers, if we can maybe walk them through those 7 steps and tell them, what are the things that will help them get there?
Well, I will, but in addition, it's important to note that 99.999% of all the kids that have benefited from the QLA methodology, Quantum Leap Advantage, since 1993. But last week was my 24th anniversary of giving the seminar.
Wow.
So the hundreds of thousands, arguably millions of kids that have used it, I've never met. I would know if they walked into this room. It's only the 0.1% that have actually attended a seminar. The second thing that's really important, vis-a-vis your question about the 7 steps, all my information is free. I don't sell anything. It's all free on the internet, and it's all free on my site. And the 7 steps are enumerated quite vividly. But I'm only going to go through the most important steps because they're the ones that most kids try to skip. And we have a joke here because we had a Macedonian kid years ago who tried to go from step 1 to step 7. So we now call it the Macedonia model. And you need to build your personal foundation. And what that really means, and that really it requires 4 steps. And what that's saying is that you have to build your emotional bank account, because we have 2 bank accounts in life. We have a financial bank account and we have an emotional bank account. And everybody always worries about the financial bank account, but the one they run out of, the one that runs dry first, is the emotional bank account. I was asked recently at a talk, what's the definition of an entrepreneur? And I said a definition of an entrepreneur is being three payments behind in your mortgage and having a payroll due in a week and you're overdrawn in your bank account.
Yes.
Now, I mean, that's an entrepreneur because you're going to have to scramble.
I know that feels,
I've been there more times than I like to count. Okay. So the first step is build your personal foundation. And that's based on perception is reality. That's based on some kids call it, which I don't like, fake it till you make it. I mean, it's how you dress. It's how you talk. I recommend kids go to improvisation. I recommend kids go to Toastmasters so they learn how to speak the English language properly. And because everybody that comes here, English isn't their primary language.
Yes.
I mean, at least half It's not. And one of my current superstars is from Bulgaria. When I met him 2 years ago, he couldn't speak English.
Yes.
And now he's doing quite well. He's on his 5th or 6th acquisition, and he's a selling son of a gun. After you build your personal foundation and your modeling, and success leaves clues. So we mentoring and modeling, but I'll get to mentoring. The next portion of the 7 steps that is really critical is that forming good habits. Okay. Habits get you started. Motivation gets you started. Good habits keeps you going. And most people, not just that come here, but most people in life have piss poor habits. I say, show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Now, unfortunately, most of the kids can do better. They should not measure up, but they should leverage up. And that's an awful thing to say to somebody about their friends. But most of the people that are in today's life, they go and hang around or hang or chill, as they use, as they say, with people that they're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with a person, that means it's not outside your comfort zone.
Exactly.
And the second part of this, the 7 steps is built around building your comfort zone. Now, I can guarantee you that 95% of the kids that listen to this, if I sat down in a room just eyeball to eyeball, they would feel uncomfortable. Some would sweat, some would shake, some would stutter, okay? But the 50th time or the 20th time they sat down with me, they wouldn't shake, sweat, and stutter. And but we as a human race, we want to be comfortable. The last part of the 7 steps devotes yourself to where do I get the goddamn money? As I say in my site, where do I get the fucking money? And there's more money out there than you can ever imagine. Ever imagine. We show them how to get it. We focus on debt, not equity. Because if you don't focus on debt from commercial institutions, the equity providers, even the best ones, are going to take a lion's share of your dream away from you. Equity providers are the investor or lender of last resort. And we're getting more than 75% of all our transactions funded with pure commercial debt. But the thing in the 7 steps, the penultimate part of the 7 steps is that most of the kids watching this or listening to this wouldn't know a deal if it bit them in the ass. You don't know what a deal is. I mean, we have a very simple rule of thumb. If debt service cannot cover, if cash flow, free cash flow cannot cover debt service, it's not a deal.
It's not a deal, Very much like.
And we look for motivated sellers, and that's the basis of the program. And it's been the same since I was doing it 45 years ago, and now since I've been teaching it the last 24 years.
Yes, and I wonder, I've seen people talk about, coming out of the program. One of the comments they made is the fact that it's definitely life-changing for people. That's definitely was a very recurring theme. The concept of having no limits came up a lot. And I wonder, how do you actually accomplish that with them in the 7-day period of time that they are with you? You get them to that mindset of feeling like there's nothing in their way anymore.
Well, no. We only set the seed in this weeks-long seminar. The next 12 months that they get free mentoring from me. Is when I beat it into them. Got it. Literally.
Yes.
Beat it into them. And in my judgment, the best part of the seminar is and it's the most work for me, is the free mentoring for a year. Because I answer all the reports myself, I make all the comments myself. Nobody does it for me. Like this week, it starts tonight. I will change the 2,500 slides depending on the group. And if we need more of this, I'll add more of this the night before. Or if we need less of this, I'll skip through the slides, the PowerPoint presentation. But I was just reading some reports from last week, and they were saying the biggest change for them, and this is not unusual, is the fact that I've gone outside my comfort zone where other people are uncomfortable. And what we teach is we teach you how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And as human beings, and being raised by our parents the way we've been, that's the last thing we're looking for. Our little children, our parents are saying, oh, be a good boy, don't get hurt, don't do this, don't do that. But if love got the job done, we wouldn't have war. If love got the job done, we wouldn't have catastrophes that are going on in the world. So we have to transcend that and do something in addition to being loved at home.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'd love for people to get to know Dan, who started out with real estate sales, and I know how I listened to you talking about that experience, and then you went on to Wall Street, and then you went on to the oil industry. Correct. I think there's a lot about your own particular passion that you had from the get-go, wanting to really break through and make things happen. And I think for a lot of sales professionals, I think it would be great for them to kind of get a sense of how did that evolve in Dan.
Okay. When I came back from the Vietnam conflict, and I went back to school because I had flunked out of university 3 times.
Yes.
And I went back and I was working on my master's, which I never finished, by the way. And I had a scholarship to go to law school. I decided that I needed more money. So I got a sales job, okay, selling real estate. And my old sales manager, a guy named Kelly Norwood, God rest his soul, was a defrocked lawyer from Bolt Hall, Berkeley.
Yes.
He had been struck off for being a fraudster. And and the first sales meeting we had, he says, Danny, a boy like you ought to sell every goddamn person that comes through the door. So he set his expectations very high. Right. I didn't know, I never sold anything. I didn't know you're not supposed to sell 100% of the people.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Very rarely estate agents would do that.
Okay, well, I sold 94. That next year, I sold 94.6% of every single person that walked through the door. 94.6.
Yes.
And I didn't know any different. And I went from driving a Beetle Volkswagen.
Yes.
To a Fleetwood Brougham limousine with a chauffeur.
Yeah.
Wow. I went from making $200 a week to making $30,000 a month in 13 months selling while I was going to school. And I said, well, I mean, I can't stop this selling. So I didn't go to law school. I didn't, but that's where I learned how to close, because when people come to me and I've taken over sales organization, it's I can name you 20 where from June to December I double sales for the whole organization.
Yes.
We double sales. Okay. And I'm top line driven guy, not so much bottom line, because you can find any bean counter to fix that bottom line. Cutting expenses is no genius, and I'm top line driven, and that means I'm revenue driven. And a lot of the guys that come here, we've got examples. The guy was doing $77,000 a month in revenue and sales in June, and in December he did $485,000.
Wow.
Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but that's not even near the best one we have.
Yes.
And we made, first of all, we took a sales presentation, we put it in the shitter. We changed the way he dresses. We changed the way he talks. We cut his ponytail off, and I know a lot of the guys aren't going to like it. And we gave him a haircut closer to yours.
Yes.
He went crazy.
Yeah.
And because you only have one time to make a first impression.
Yeah, absolutely.
One time to make a first impression. This has been my uniform for 35 years.
Yes.
It's made me a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, Dan, that the real estate transactions, haven't had my own experience with them, they really teach you to keep thinking that there must be another way, there must be another way. And I think your deal making skills started by being, faced with a lot of deals that you were trying to make happen, and you get calls that something was in the way and something was in the way.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, many's the night I saw the sun come up trying to close a real estate deal in the guy's kitchen. Many's the day I saw, the sun coming through the window. And because it's more than just handling objections. It's, if the guy or the gal or the couple doesn't feel comfortable buying whatever the hell it is,
Exactly, yeah. You have a blockage in the way.
It's a mold machine like in McDonald's, Ray Kroc did, or it's a piece of land to build a house on. If he doesn't feel comfortable, it's not just about handling objections. If it was just handling objections, I mean, there's only so many objections that you can come up with on most products, and then it just gets down to, do I like this kid?
Yes, yes.
And if they don't like you, and so you want to give them every reason to like you and give them as few reasons not to like you. And, and when I tell the kids, and they don't like hearing this, and it's how you look. It's how you look and how you talk.
Yes, makes a huge difference. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Our next discussion, I heard a lot of people coming out of the program saying, they feel like there's a lot that happened in the program that they feel that now they have the ability to kind of self-sustain each other or self-sustain oneself. And I wonder what that meant.
It means because we have webinars all through the year with people that are left the program and are successful. We have webinars during the week long where they can see successful kids. And the templates that they get dating back from the middle 90s till last month.
Yes.
And we continue to upgrade we have the best practices. We have 3 to 7 to 8 different ways to approach prospects, depending on the industry, depending on the time of the year. 75% of all financial transactions are done the last 120 days of the fiscal year. Why? Because financial institutions want to get money out the door so they can get paid Christmas bonuses.
Yes.
I'm not saying that we don't do deals in the beginning of the year, but don't fret if you're having to wait till the end of the year. So we give them best practices. But we show them, and right now with LinkedIn and with Twitter and not so much Facebook, but they're great sales tools. And I'm not saying that you can't sell on Facebook, but the bigger the ticket sale, the harder it is to use, in my judgment, the social media. People don't buy $3 million software deals on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn.
Or LinkedIn, exactly, yeah.
They just don't, okay?
Yeah.
Now, they may buy a $100,000 Mercedes, but they're not gonna buy the big tickets. And what we teach the kids is to up your game and sell the big ticket items. A bank would rather loan you $5 million than $50,000. It's the same paperwork.
Yes.
It's exactly the same paperwork. And we've had kids. We had a 19-year-old kid earlier this year. Didn't go to high school, didn't go to college, and he did a $3 million deal. He bought a little healthcare company for $3 million, and has no money, had nothing.
Yes.
Homeschooled, and he's not the only one, but we've got some other teenage phenoms. And the reason why the younger kids up to, let's say, the late 20s find it somewhat easier, and that's not really the right word, is because they have less baggage. They haven't been pissed on. They haven't been beaten down as an old guy like yourself, and you're young. Yes. I mean, they haven't experienced as many as failures. They really believe the wall of China can still be built.
Exactly, yeah.
You go to MIT and you ask somebody, can the wall of China be built today? No. No way. You take a young kid who just got out of high school. Yeah, let's get us 1 million guys together and let's get some bricks and some, figure out
how to do it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Do you sometimes pay the graduates up together in teams to work together, maybe support one another?
No. We do that during the seminar and some of the role playing, and we do it very much in the hardcore role playing. But I don't believe in them networking after the seminar. And the reason why is that they don't share best practices. They share everything that got screwed up.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, it's a no-no. It's verboten. I know some of them, the kids still do it, but I want them during the mentor program. It's free. because I can throw you out of the mentor program anytime I want because it's free.
Yes.
When I'm coaching you for free, you're going to do it my way or the highway. I'm not interested in this, especially in the 2017. This is as popular as a turd in a punch bowl.
Right.
I mean, I'm not interested in your goddamn opinion.
Yeah.
If you were so goddamn smart, you wouldn't be coming here. And I'm not interested in your parents' opinion. Unless he's, well, God rest his soul, Steve Jobs or somebody.
Yes.
I'm not interested. I mean, this system works. We've created well over 50 billion, and we've gotten some world-class people out of it. Because the system works, there's no question about it.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot about Dan that's sort of winning against all odds. And I'd love for you to maybe, pick a few examples of that happening in your own life that a business owner listening in might, benefit from. If Dan could do it in that environment, I think it's inspiration.
Okay. Well, the one that people talk about is I took an option. I didn't even own, it's like taking a house.
Yes.
I had an option on for 6 months and I took it public on NASDAQ. Didn't own it.
Yes.
Well, Great Western Resources, I didn't own the assets. I had an option to buy the assets, and I took it public on the London Stock Exchange, and I turned $60,000 into 100 million pounds in 100 days. At that time, it was about 200 million bucks.
Yes.
$60,000, 200 million bucks. And they told me, you can't take an option public. And I said, why? And nobody could tell me why.
Yes.
It wasn't in the books. Well, I took it public, and then I ran to Amsterdam, and I did the same thing there, and then they changed the rules around the world. You can't take options public anymore. But back in the middle 80s, you could. So, I mean, I look for things that they tell you can't be done. It's like people tell me that, how did you close almost 100%? Well, I've given, in this room we're sitting right now, pick up the phone, don't know the guy from a hole in the ground, don't know where he's from, and sold him.
Yes.
And sold him. And sold him.
Yes.
And sold him. Time after time. I can't remember the last guy I didn't sell that they asked me to sell.
Yes.
Because I don't know anything but success. I don't know anything but the close.
Exactly.
I closed a $10 million deal in October on the phone here in 20 minutes.
Exactly. I think that's very inspiring for a lot of people because a lot of people still fear the phone. A lot of people still, sit behind the laptop,
Well, I mean, it's not just fear the phone. The whole generation and a half has grown up. They have no interpersonal skills.
Yes.
And I never realized what a benefit it was, the fact that I can talk. Although I got an F in public speaking in high school and an F in university, but I can speak. Some people consider me a world-class speaker now, but I mean, I can talk. And I mean, most kids are so concerned about, are they going to look bad? Are they going to step on their dick? I mean, what is their wife going to say? What are my parents going to say? What are my chums going to say? And it doesn't matter. It's only what you think of yourself. I mean, self-esteem is the basis of all high performance. And when you look at guys, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, the late Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, they all have super high self-esteem. And they pretty much don't give a shit what anybody thinks or says, especially Elon now.
Yes,
I mean, he says, I'm disappointed you think that way, but I'll prove you wrong.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's just having faith in your own opinion and your own decisions that you can definitely keep moving forward.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Excuse
me. And I don't just believe in the 1% set, like you talk.
Yes.
1%.
Yes.
I'm looking for the 0.1% guys and gals.
Exactly. Yeah.
And and they're out there, and we can improve their sales skills. I mean, everybody's sales skills at least doubles. I consider I failed if I can double your close ratio, at least double it.
Yes.
I did something wrong.
Yeah,
I think early dementia or something. I mean, something's wrong.
Absolutely. And I think you get them really thinking about the fact that they can do these much bigger than they're much bigger than life deals that they would not have thought possible before, right? Yeah. I mean, that's a
I've got
whole
a
other scale.
mentee, an Australian kid, Simon, if you hear this, that's not that bright, but he's pretty smart. He just did a $181 million deal, and now he's working on a $3 billion deal.
It's unbelievable, yeah.
Okay, and he was a management consultant.
Yes.
I mean, which, you know, I don't want to tell you what I think about management consultants, but anyway,
Yes.
I mean, he was a management consultant, and now he's working on a $3 billion deal.
It's incredible, Dan, that you can actually take someone and transform the thought process to think that big.
But you got to want to.
Yes, yes.
You got to
and
want
be
to.
scared of it. Yeah, because I think a lot of people will be scared of it. You know, even, oh my God, what if I succeed?
Yeah, you know, when I came to Scotland 35 years ago, they had never done a billion deal in Scotland. They hadn't done one. And down in London and New York and everybody else, you know.
Yes.
So I made it my business. Now, I didn't get any money paid for it, but I did it my business to organize the first $1 billion deal here in Scotland. I couldn't believe nobody had ever done a billion, this billion pound, not $1 billion.
Yes.
And of course, now billion, you know, I won't say it's chump change, but it's not considered. 35 years ago, it was huge.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Well, then that's been fantastic, and I want to close on. I heard you talking about your own passion for vets. I know you yourself
Correct. Yes,
have
sir.
been in the military before, and you had this program that you wanted to launch, Boots to Suits, and I wanted to just honor the fact that you agreed to join us here today. That I will actually be offering the membership in the Top 1% Sellers Academy to any vet who is interested in getting into a sales career. So we'll definitely make sure that's available in the show notes.
Very good. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely also we'll share with people the dates for the August program, because I think a lot of people listening in may be, piqued enough to check out the August program as well.
And just as an aside, military and students get a big discount to come to the Castle Seminar. We, in fact, the military, we make them wear their uniforms. So we only have one active duty military starting tonight, and they're not thrilled to wear their uniform, but since they get such a big discount, they wear it.
Yes.
But I'm all for helping the vets.
Fantastic. It's been really a distinct pleasure. I'm very honored to have spoken with you
Well,
live
I
here
look
today.
forward to meeting you in person someday.
Absolutely. I look forward to it as well, Dan.
By the way, one of the schools I flunked out of was San Jose State.
Okay.
Right down the road from you.
It's their loss.
Okay. Thank you very
so
much.
Have a great
Nice talking to
evening. Good luck with the start of the program today.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
As you heard me promise Dan Peña right now in the interview that I will make the Top 1% Sellers Academy membership area available for our veterans. If you are a veteran who is interested in learning more about the sales profession and eventually joining the ranks of top sellers as well, reach out to me by sending me an email at ash@connectwithash.com, and I will be more than happy to give you access to the Top 1% Sellers Academy membership site, and hope it will be very rewarding for you. And I really thank you for your service, and I hope you will find the content, the webinars, the podcasts, and everything we have in that membership area, as well as also access to coaches, a very rewarding experience for you. And I wish you all the best as you build a new career for yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to the Top 1% Sellers podcast. Give us your suggestions and guest recommendations by emailing us at ash@connectwithash.com. Thank you also for sharing this podcast with your colleagues and social media contacts. To connect with us on LinkedIn, please send a connect request to ash@connectwithash.com. See you at our next episode. Thanks for tuning in.